So you're retired. Welcome. Or you're about to retire. Or you're thinking about retiring. Great. Just because you retire doesn't mean that it's over. You're going to start a new full-time job. And you may not have thought about it or counted on it, but it's going to happen. And that job is going to be managing and maintaining your health. And it will become a full-time job. You're gonna be shocked how much. All those years you grinding and ignoring symptoms and illnesses and just plowing forward to because work demanded. They don't give a crap about you. You're just a cog in the machine. And when you retire, those illnesses, those symptoms and things are gonna decide to say, hey, you've had your time, now it's time to focus on you or me. And sometimes the longer you put off these illnesses, these symptoms and things, they'll make a priority out of it sooner or later. So you can only push things off for so long. And for my friends and family who's like, I don't want to go to the doctor. I don't want to know what I don't know. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think that's a bad way of looking at it. I fully understand because that's a guy thing typically. We just don't go to the doctor. We don't seek the help that we need all the time. There's a lot of things that we choose not to because we don't want to deal with it, or we've always been taught to suck it up and deal with it. Your job is to be a man, and men don't cry, they don't feel pain, and they go forth. But we could touch on that a little bit. But with that mindset, more guys than women, we tend to ignore these symptoms, and then they will, sooner or later, they'll come out, and we're forced to deal with them. And if we would to actually act on that or get checked out, have our health screenings, and done these things when we were younger, or when we were first having them, or having the regular checkups, we have those opportunities to catch and prevent and fix a lot of these things. But we choose not to because we're arrogant. We don't think we need to. And just taking everybody around and showing everybody some side roads. This is how I clear out my mind. So, I didn't want it to, so I had some positive lab results, right? And, so they're going to have to go in and do a colonoscopy and stuff like that. And I was terrified and afraid because I didn't want to know what I don't know. And I was terrified, right? And, okay, it's silly. A colonoscopy takes 15, 20 minutes, I guess. I couldn't tell you how long I was in there. And I was trying to delay it and do everything I could, and got my wife pushing me, and you got to get it done. You need to get it checked. It's okay. It's okay. And I hear other people that get it done. It's nothing to worry about. But it was that fear. What if they find something and then I have 6 months to live? That's that mindset, and that's why I think a lot of us don't want to check it out. And for me, I'm glad I got it done because, and this was just recently, like, we'll say even a month ago, and I haven't really told anybody this because I'm ashamed, I'm embarrassed of it. They found 3 precancerous whatever things inside when they were doing the colonoscopy that they were able to rip out or take it out, and you know, they got all the stuff, and now I just got to go back every 3 years to get it checked out. But if I would have ignored it, you know, how, you know, they would have turned into a cancer. They would, and how aggressive that would have been, I don't know. And I'm glad I got it done, and I plan on getting it done every few years, because the more you think about it, and even having the discussion, you know, you need to do the right thing. And with guys, we typically just decide to blow it off, like, you know, I don't want to know, and when they do find out, it's too late, and then there's a bunch of regret and sadness, and what if I should have, and just remorse, and it's too late by that time. And if you think that it's not important, or you're not going to be missed, then you're going to be pleasantly surprised, or unpleasantly surprised, however you want to look at it. People will miss you. You know, they're going to miss you. We're going to make a U-turn here. We've been down this road in a long time. But yeah, you'll be pleasantly surprised. And mental health and physical health is what I'm trying to get into before I went off in a tangent. It's going to be our full-time job. We're going to focus on our health a lot more in retirement, because we've neglected it for so long while we were working. And your body's going to be forced and saying, it's my time. You need to pay attention to yourself now. And your calendars was once filled with conference calls, meetings, and to-dos, and tasks, and whatever. Now it's going to be filled up with lab works, doctor's appointments, pill schedules, and you're going to be logging side effects and symptoms, and you're going to be doing a lot more. You're going to be going to the gym or walking and trying to find things. You know, you're going to have all these activities to try to keep your mind and your body sharp. And that's the key thing. You're going to be doing this full time. It will become a full-time job. And maybe not at first, but it will be. The older you get, the more it's going to be. It's going to feel like a full-time job. And guess what? There ain't no PTO in this job. So, you know, with a lot of this, you can, it could be scary at the same time. It could be rewarding, because a lot of us get our health back. We're able to reverse a lot of things. Not everything can be reversed, but we have these opportunities to correct the wrongs that we've done to our bodies forever. And it could be that, you know, it could be one emergency, one event, one illness could just happen, and it will happen. Something will happen. And it could be such a devastating blow financially, it could destroy your financials if we're not prepared for it. You could have something that you didn't account for, and it will wipe out everything. And it could have been prevented, could have been taken care of long before, but we chose to ignore it. We chose to ignore it, and now we have to pay the price. And it sucks to think it like that and think like that, but it could be worse than a bad investment. It could be just devastating to us. And there's not much we can do other than trying to go to the doctor and getting checked out. Like I said, I have friends who have never seen a doctor, refuse to go get seen and treated because they're scared. And I'm like, dude, that's the wrong answer to have. I was the same way. And you got to focus on you. Luckily, you seem healthy, but you don't know. You know, you could have cancer now. You would not know it, and it would be too late and whatever. But get yourself trained. Get yourself checked out. It is important. It is very, very important. We're going on this roundabout. The reason why we got all those tornadoes is because all the roundabouts they're putting in there. The cars go round and round and round. And then, woo, they're spin off a tornado. Good gravy. So, let me grab my note here. So yeah, we're going to focus on a lot of that stuff. So I have little notes here, little cue cards, just to kind of keep me on track. But we're going to focus on things. We're going to do all these things to try to get our mind sharp and maintain our sharp mind. We're going to do stretches and exercises and stuff. And what I wanted to touch in was, if you don't take care of yourself and you don't build the energy, you don't maintain the energy you have or whatever, that lack of energy you have physically and mentally is going to impact your everyday life. And so much so that your adventures, your family events, your making memories with loved ones are going to be impacted, and you're not going to be able to do that because you're not taking care of you first. And I'm in a diabetes support group, right? Because I have type 2 diabetes, right? I'm getting under control. It was, my A1C was like almost 10, and it's like 6.8 last I checked. And I'll find out here in about a month what it will be. It'll probably be a little higher because I've been not so good. Gotta love the cops. Cops always make me nervous. but what was I saying? But I forgot what I was saying. Good golly. Cop made me nervous. But no. See, I don't remember now. Anywho. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that we need to work on, you know, as far as our keeping sharp and trying to make memories and being able to move around and do things is really, really important. I mean, our lives are going to be revolved around managing our appointments, our health, our pill regimen, our whatever, this, that, and everything. We're going to be managing our health full time. And if you want to have mobility, I remember what I was going to talk about. Mobility, then you have to stay active. And I was at a diabetes club or a support group yesterday, and they were talking about, somebody asked a question, what's more important, diet or exercise? And the lady, I love this lady, she's great. She's very, very knowledgeable. She's kind of a nerd for a nurse. She basically said they're both equally almost important. The only reason why she says diet is more important, because without diet, people that, when they get to that point, they don't have the mobility. They're not able to do as active stuff as they can. So that's where diet beats exercise and activities more than eating. The diet will help get you to that point where you move around and whatever and help control or lower your weight. But exercise both mentally and physically is almost as equal as diet itself. So I thought that was kind of an interesting support group. I go to the support group because that is one of my coping mechanisms that kind of keep me accountable. I go every month and we have different discussions and I can ask questions, and I feel, for me, I'm the youngest guy in there. Apparently this yesterday, most of everybody is in their 60s or higher, and the sad part for me was they were all sitting there talking about all these great programs that are out there in the county, and I'm just sitting there like, I feel like I'm an outsider because I don't qualify for any of these programs. Why? I'm not over 60. A lot of stuff we're senior citizens this and senior citizens that and senior citizens this, and there was nothing that was for anybody in their 50s or 40s. And I'm like, really? That sucks. I can't even go to the senior center to kind of play basketball or do something, the senior citizens got a lot of activities and things that I would find interesting, but guess what? I'm not a senior citizen, so I feel like I'm neglected in that area. I wish the county would fix that. Maybe I'll say something, but yeah, it kind of really hurts my feelings on that level. But like that diabetes support group is a remedy for some of the health issues or the health job or our full-time job that we can use. Another one, basically communities, finding communities and groups for elements or like-minded interests to kind of help you keep healthy and active are a great support system. Another support system is start and build and identify your healthcare team. And what I mean by that is not professional doctors, unless you have doctors in the family, but maybe grab a spouse or somebody that you can rely and trust on, with you to help you and support you with all your medical decisions and stuff. Like my wife is great. I mean, I want her on my side at every doctor's visit, every procedure. To me, it's important because she writes down everything. She is more squared away than these doctors. When her parents got sick, the doctors and the nurses relied on her because she took notes. She knew everything that was going on with her mom and dad when they were in the hospital. That the doctors would ask her questions, and yep, okay, So she was squared away. And I'm telling you, like my wife, she's aggressive when it comes to things like this. She's going to take care of you. I feel for her because she doesn't have her as a support system like I have her for my support system. She's got me. And I am nowhere as good as her when it comes to things like that. My wife's amazing when it comes to things like that. Everybody would want my wife to be her support counselor, whatever you want to call them, but my healthcare person that I go to. She knows everything about everything. She's phenomenal at it. You could also get somebody to, an accountability buddy, have some kind of an accountability. My nose itches. And have an accountability buddy could be anybody. It could be a friend. It could be a group of folks. And you know what? Let's do it here. Start tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow is the 25th, I think. I don't know what tomorrow is. So starting Friday. I think I'm gonna post this. Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start a 30-day challenge, starting tomorrow, maybe longer. No sugar. And if anybody wants to join me on a no sugar challenge, let me know. Put it in the comments. Tell me whatever. And if you wanted to add something more to that challenge, let's do it. I'm for it. You know what? Maybe I start a health regimen and we talk about whatever, but what I'm doing for my health wise. But I'm thinking tomorrow I'm going to cut out all sugars. Now, I think the exception will be honey, because I don't see honey as a sugar. And if I put honey in my tea, that's fine. It's got more health benefits than it, whatever. But I'm talking like processed sugar. Natural sugars like honey, I don't count, or natural sugars that come from fruit and vegetables, those are fine. Processed sugars that are like sodas, cakes and desserts and breads and things like that, out. Spices, out. So that's what I'm gonna do tomorrow, and I'm gonna provide an update on that, and we can talk about that once a week. How about that? How about every Friday we provide an update on the sugar or whatever health challenge we're doing, and then if anybody wants to get on board with me, put it down in the comments that you're gonna do it, or any other suggestions, recommendations. That'd be phenomenal. I think that might be something good, what works for you, what doesn't work, what addictions do you have? For me, my addiction, sugar. Golly, I tell you, sugar is the worst goddamn thing for me. Maybe I shouldn't have used those choice words, but dude, I'm telling you, sugar is an addiction, and I wish I could just get rid of it. So that's going to be my challenge. The rest of this month, actually, the rest of this month, it's July and August. We're going to do the whole month of August. Maybe I'm going to start Friday, tomorrow, and then if anybody else wants to join with me and do it with me, we can start, August 1st, or whatever. We'll figure it out. But yeah, give me suggestions down below. But that's going to be my challenge. That's going to be my support system, my accountability, and I'll post updates. Why not, right? Got nothing else to lose but sugar, fat, and see how well we can win. You know what? And we'll figure something out. We're gonna get a format, but we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something. That's why I love having these talks and thinking and sharing, because you know what? That's on the spot. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do, so we can have that accountability. Another thing we can do, get away from that part, financially, like I said, we can lose everything because we get sick. Financially, we can be devastated and destroyed. And I think if we try to plan for our illnesses and being sick and stuff, either have a cash bucket for that, try to figure out our HSA, excuse me, I had a hiccup. Fix our HSA, and other things, to kind of help cover and plan for that, for our illnesses. That typically will help. With healthcare, healthcare is the big, its inflation rate is a lot higher than the general inflation rate. So the cost of healthcare is outpacing everything else, and it can be devastating. You got co-pays, you got whatever, you got all these things that you got to pay with your healthcare, your premiums and stuff like that. And next year, 2026, they've talked about, and I might have said this before, they have talked about or announced that prices will be going up quite a bit, and that's going to impact us. And if that goes, if it's going to go up, it's going to impact us personally too, because my wife, she'll have her pension, and she pays with her pension for her health care for her and me. So we'll have that. We'll be able to keep her plan long into retirement. But if the premiums are going to go up, the amount of money that we're going to have for ourselves is going to be less than what we're planning for. So I got to make up that money somehow or someplace else, and that's worth my investments and whatever we're doing. But you have to account for inflation, and healthcare inflation is a lot higher than anything else that has an inflation rate, whatever the general inflation rate is. So just kind of keep that in mind. We have to account for medical costs. We have to account for illnesses. We have to account for our health. And our health is the number one thing that should be important to us. It should be important. And if it's not, you're going to be sitting on the couch watching reruns of Full House. I don't know. I will say this too, though, and maybe it's just because we're in the middle of downsizing. But TV, like I don't have cable TV. We're trying to get rid of as much stuff as we can. And what is going on? There are a bunch of people with cameras on the bridge trying to take a picture of something. It must be an eagle or something out there. I don't know. It must be the bird watchers of I don't know. Silly gooses. Would love to know what they got. They got some serious cameras. I used to love photography. I still love photography. I just don't have the gear anymore. But I would love to get a camera again and do that again. Give me a nice, expensive setup and go do that. That would be an activity that I enjoy, or I did enjoy, because I used to go out in the mountains every day. Every time I had a day off, I would just go out in the national parks or forests and trails and take pictures and play around with photography. That was my activity. And now you have a little insight on me. I mean, I do love cameras, photography, and I'm horrible at it, but whatever. It brings me peace of mind and joy. But anyway, let's close this up. Let's wrap it up. I guess I've talked and rambled on for quite a bit. You're going to be retired, and you're going to have a full-time job. It may not feel like a full-time job, but it is a full-time job. The older you get, the more intensive the work's going to be. And the older you get, you know, if you neglected your health, the more you neglected your health, the more you're going to be working on it in the future. So health is everything. Health is what's going to keep you around. Health is what's going to... Okay. Health is what's going to keep you happy and active and whatever. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm trying to get on the road here. But my final thought is stay active. Work on your mental, your physical health. I'm trying to do the same. And I'm serious. We can do these like Friday health checkups or whatever. And if other people want to do it with me, we'll do it. We'll figure out how to do a live or something and get that ball rolling. I think that might be a good thing. I think it might be fun. And it'll bring accountability. I need an accountability buddy when it comes to like sugar and whatever else. And if I know other people are doing it too, we can have a challenge. We can talk about it. So, but anyways, I'm gonna leave it on that note. I got lots of stuff to do. We're still downsizing. Got a few more things to clean up inside the house. I'm gonna hire some maids to do a deep clean. I got to do some things on the outside. It's going to be hot outside. Some maintenance things. Make the house a little bit more presentable. And then next week, I'm hoping to have the house on the market. That will be the next stage of our downsizing. And we are looking for, we're looking at our different RVs, overland type RVs. And we're trying to figure that part out. So, but anyways, that's all I have for today. I will see you guys tomorrow, maybe. Y'all take care. Stay safe. Love, peace, and be kind to one another. And share. If you have some kind of knowledge, share it out. Because knowledge is power. Later.